Toward the 4th anniversary of the war in Iraq, and Democratic leaders in Congress still are struggling to agree on a plan to try to set some limits on the president's policies. One of their biggest obstacles right now, the left flank of the Democratic Party. Let's turn to our congressional correspondent, Andrea Coppola. Andrea, where do the Democrats stand right now in trying to forge some sort of consensus?
Well, Wolf, you put it perfectly, really. Democrats in both the House and the Senate are struggling right now, trying to bridge the differences on Iraq, not just with Republicans, but among members of their own rank and file.
Democrats admit changing U.S. policy in Iraq has been an uphill climb.
We are now trying to fashion language which will, while supporting and protecting our troops, also requires the administration to report on benchmarks being met, performance being met that the president has represented needs to be accomplished by the Iraqi government.
That plan to condition the continued presence of U.S. combat troops in Iraq to the Iraqi government's ability to make good on key promises is being championed by Pennsylvania Democrat John Murtha. Murtha's proposal, backed by Democratic leaders, to add these conditions to the president's request for an estimated $100 billion in emergency war funding, was aimed at winning support from a majority of Democrats. But a leading anti-war critic, California's Maxine Waters, whose so-called Out of Iraq caucus claims about 75 Democrats, nearly a third of the Democratic majority, says her group won't support more money for Iraq unless it's to bring U.S. troops home.
The only way to get us out of the war is to have an exit strategy that is clear, that is well articulated, that makes good sense, that gives them time to do it, that is funded so that the soldiers are funded and secured on their way out.
In this letter obtained by CNN, Waters and other anti-war Democrats argue the costs of the war have become unsustainable and take Republican critics head-on, saying fully funding withdrawal is not micromanagement, it is macromanagement. The Bush administration has so badly managed this effort that they have forced Congress to intervene.
And Waters says she and other anti-war Democrats are prepared to vote against the president's emergency spending bill, putting Democratic leaders in a quandary how to balance the two extremes of their party, keeping the left wing in without alienating the moderates, Wolf, who don't want to be painted as voting against funding for U.S. troops. Wolf.
All right, Andrew.